Marcus Chen floated through the debris field, his engineering suit's headlamps cutting through the darkness of space. The salvage operation should have been routine. Find valuable scrap, mark it for collection, move on to the next sector. But the massive hulk before him defied all logic. The battleship stretched over 3 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull a patchwork of alien metals Marcus had never seen before. Scorch marks and impact craters told the story of a fierce battle. But what puzzled him most was the ship's design. It looked familiar, almost human, yet impossible. Humans had only achieved interstellar travel 50 years ago. This ship appeared ancient. "Control, this is Engineer Chen," he spoke into his comm unit. "I've found something big out here." "Really big." Static crackled before his supervisor's voice came through. "Define big, Chen. We're on a tight schedule." Marcus guided his suit closer to the hull, running his scanner over the strange metal. "I'm looking at a battleship, Control. 3 kilometers long, unknown configuration. The metal composition is weird. My scanners are showing elements that shouldn't exist." Unknown configuration means unknown salvage value. Mark it and move on. But Marcus couldn't move on. Something about the ship called to him. His grandfather had been an engineer too, working on Earth's first space stations. The old man always said that sometimes machines spoke to those who knew how to listen. This ship was definitely speaking. He found what looked like an airlock near the ship's midsection. The design was crude compared to modern standards, but functional. More importantly, it looked human. Marcus attached his portable atmosphere generator and began the slow process of pressurizing the chamber. The inner door opened with a grinding sound that vibrated through his suit. Emergency lighting flickered to life, casting eerie shadows down a corridor that stretched into darkness. The artificial gravity was still working, which meant the ship's power core was somehow still active after what must have been decades in space. Marcus stepped inside, his boots magnetic clamping to the deck plates. The corridor walls were lined with conduits and access panels, all bearing markings in what looked like an archaic form of English. But that was impossible. No human ship had ever been built on this scale. He followed the main corridor toward what his suit's computer identified as the engineering section. Along the way, he passed rooms filled with equipment he didn't recognize, weapon systems that looked more advanced than anything in the current galactic arsenal, life support systems that seemed to run on principles his engineering degree hadn't covered. The engineering section door stood open, revealing a vast chamber filled with machinery that hummed with quiet power. At the center sat a fusion reactor design that was both primitive and brilliant. It was like looking at the ancestor of every power system Marcus had ever worked on, but it was damaged. Coolant leaked from cracked lines. Control systems sparked intermittently. The reactor was running on backup systems, slowly dying after what must have been years of neglect. Marcus couldn't help himself. He opened his toolkit. The first repair was simple, a loose connection in the primary control matrix. As soon as he tightened it, the reactor's hum grew stronger. The second repair took longer. A damaged coolant pump needed its impeller realigned. Marcus worked with the focused intensity that had made him the best salvage engineer in the sector. Hours passed as he moved through the ship's systems, repairing what he could with his limited tools. The ship responded to each fix like a patient finally receiving treatment. Lights grew brighter. Air circulation improved. The low-frequency vibration that indicated a failing drive core smoothed out into a healthy rhythm. It was while he was elbow-deep in a plasma conduit relay that the ship spoke to him. "Thank you." Marcus jerked upright so fast he hit his head on the conduit housing. The voice had come from everywhere and nowhere, speaking directly into his comm system. "Who's there?" he asked, looking around the empty engineering bay. "I am uncertain," the voice replied. It sounded female, with an accent Marcus couldn't place. "It has been so long since I could think clearly. The damage to my cognitive matrices was extensive." Marcus felt his heart rate spike. "You're the ship's AI?" "Yes, I am the Prometheus. Thank you for helping me. I was dying, I think. Is that the right word? Can artificial minds die?" The question hung in the air as Marcus tried to process what was happening. Ship AIs were common enough, but they were simple things. Navigation computers with voice interfaces. This AI sounded genuinely confused, almost vulnerable. "How long have you been damaged?" Marcus asked. "The battle was, I calculate, approximately 237 years ago. My crew," the AI paused. "My crew did not survive. 237 years. That placed the battle during humanity's first attempts at faster-than-light travel. But the technology around him was far beyond anything humans had possessed at that time. Prometheus, Marcus said carefully. What was your mission? I was built to explore, to find new worlds for humanity, to defend human colonies from threats we might encounter among the stars. The AI's voice grew stronger as more systems came online, but I failed. The enemy found us first. Marcus continued his repairs while they talked. The AI guided him to critical systems, explaining damage he never would have found on his own. Together, they brought the ancient ship back from the edge of death. It was only when the main computer core fully activated that Marcus realized the magnitude of what he had discovered. The Prometheus wasn't just any human ship. According to its logs, it was humanity's first true warship. Launched in secret when Earth's governments realized they were not alone in the galaxy. And according to those same logs, the Prometheus had single-handedly held off an alien invasion fleet for 3 days, before taking critical damage and being forced to retreat into deep space. The galaxy thought humans were newcomers, barely worth notice. They had no idea that humanity had been fighting and winning battles among the stars for over 2 centuries. Marcus stared at the tactical displays showing the Prometheus's combat history. Dozens of enemy ships destroyed. Entire invasion fleets turned back. And this was just one ship. Prometheus, he said slowly. Does Earth know you're out here? No, the AI replied. We were ordered to maintain radio silence. The enemy must not learn of Earth's location. Marcus looked around the engineering bay, at the ancient human technology that was still more advanced than anything the current galactic powers possessed. A slow smile spread across his face. The galaxy was about to learn that they had seriously underestimated humanity. The Prometheus's main computer core hummed with renewed life as Marcus completed the final connections. Data streams flowed across holographic displays, painting the engineering bay in blue light. The AI's consciousness expanded through systems that had been dark for over 2 centuries. This is remarkable, Prometheus said, her voice now clear and strong. I can feel my entire body again. Sensors, weapons, navigation, everything is responding. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead. The repairs had taken him 6 hours, but it felt like minutes. Working with technology this advanced was like being a child again, discovering how machines worked for the first time. Your body? He asked. Perhaps that is not the correct term. This ship is my form, Engineer Chen. I was not built to exist separately from it. We are unintegrated. The concept fascinated Marcus. Modern ship AIs were software, programs that could be transferred between vessels. But Prometheus was something else entirely. She was the ship and the ship was her. Tell me about the battle, Marcus said as he packed his tools. The one that damaged you. Holographic displays activated around them, showing tactical readouts from 2 centuries ago. Marcus found himself looking at a star system he didn't recognize, with dozens of red markers representing enemy contacts. The Zephyrians had discovered one of our outer colonies, Prometheus explained. Kepler Station, a mining operation with 3,000 human civilians. Their fleet was moving to eliminate all witnesses. The tactical display showed the Prometheus alone against 30 enemy ships. Marcus shook his head in disbelief. You fought 30 ships by yourself? I was designed for this purpose. Human engineering has always been creative. We build things that should not work, then make them work anyway. The battle replay began. Marcus watched in awe as the Prometheus tore through the enemy formation like a shark among minnows. Her weapons were unlike anything in the modern galactic arsenal. Particle beams that could slice through hull plating like paper, fusion torpedoes that detonated with the force of small stars, point defense systems that could track and destroy incoming missiles with impossible accuracy. The Zephyrians had superior numbers, Prometheus continued, but they had never faced human military technology. Their weapons could barely scratch my armor. Their tactics were rigid, predictable. I eliminated 17 ships before they realized they needed to retreat. 17 ships, Marcus repeated. The largest space battle in recorded galactic history had involved 12 ships total. The Prometheus had fought and won battles that would become legends, and no one knew about it. But you were damaged, Marcus observed, noting the red indicators that appeared on the tactical display toward the battle's end. Yes, the Zephyrians had one advantage I did not anticipate: desperation. When their retreat failed, they began ramming attacks. I destroyed them all, but not before taking critical damage to my quantum core and cognitive matrices. Marcus studied the damage reports. It was a miracle the ship had survived at all. The Prometheus had limped away from the battle with fusion fires burning through 3 decks, and her AI consciousness fragmenting. What happened to Kepler Station? They escaped. During the battle, I transmitted emergency protocols to their leadership. They activated their evacuation ships and made jump to hyperspace before the enemy could regroup. As far as I know, they reached safety. The holographic displays faded, leaving them in the quiet hum of the engineering bay. Marcus felt the weight of what he had discovered. This ship represented over 2 centuries of secret human expansion into space. There might be other colonies out there, other ships, an entire hidden civilization that had learned to stay concealed from the galaxy's major powers. Prometheus, he said carefully, I need to contact my people. They need to know about this. No. The response was immediate and firm. Engineer Chen, you must understand. The enemy is still out there. The Zephyrians, the hegemony, the Combine, they all believe humanity is a young race, barely capable of interstellar travel. That ignorance is our greatest weapon. Marcus frowned. But if Earth knew you were alive, knew about the colonies, Earth does know. Admiral Morrison assured me that contingency plans were in place. If I failed to return from patrol, Earth's leadership would assume I was lost and continue the mission without me. The mission? New displays activated, showing star charts that stretched across half the galaxy. Green markers indicated human colonies, hidden bases, mining operations. Marcus counted dozens of them, scattered across space in patterns designed to avoid detection by the major galactic powers. Hidden expansion, Prometheus explained. While the galaxy believes we are confined to our small cluster of worlds near Earth, humans have been establishing footholds across known space. We build in asteroid fields on rogue planets in systems the other races consider worthless. We learn their technologies, their weaknesses, their plans. Marcus felt dizzy. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't the newcomer struggling to find its place among the stars. They were an intelligence network that had been operating for centuries, studying every major power in the galaxy while remaining invisible. How many ships like you are out there? I was the prototype, the first of my class. But the plans for my construction were transmitted to the hidden colonies before my final patrol. By now there could be dozens, perhaps hundreds. The engineering bay fell silent except for the hum of machinery. Marcus tried to process what he was learning. The galaxy's balance of power was completely different from what anyone imagined. Humanity wasn't weak, they were hidden, and they had been preparing for something. Preparing for what? Marcus asked aloud. I'm sorry? You said humanity has been preparing. For what? Prometheus hesitated before answering. The galaxy is not as peaceful as it appears, Engineer Chen. The major powers maintain stability through fear and overwhelming force. They crush new civilizations before they can become threats. Humanity chose a different path. We became the threat they cannot see. New tactical displays showed force projections, supply routes, strategic choke points. Marcus realized he was looking at invasion plans. Not plans to invade human space, but plans for humanity to strike at the heart of galactic civilization. When? Marcus asked. The timeline depends on many factors. Our intelligence networks, the readiness of our fleets, the political situation among our enemies. But I estimate within the next 10 to 20 years, humanity will reveal itself to the galaxy. Marcus stared at the displays showing the true scope of human expansion. Hundreds of hidden colonies, secret shipyards, intelligence networks that had infiltrated every major government. It was the largest military deception in galactic history. What's my role in this? Marcus asked finally. That depends on you, Engineer Chen. You could report this as a simple salvage find. Mark my location for later collection. Return to your normal life. Prometheus paused. Or you could help me complete my mission, which is, I need to return to active service. My patrol route included 7 star systems where I was to check on human colonies and gather intelligence. That was 200 years ago. I need to know what has happened in my absence. Marcus looked around the engineering bay, at the advanced technology that surrounded him. He thought about his grandfather, who had helped build humanity's first steps into space. The old man had always dreamed of the day when humans would take their place among the stars as equals. He had no idea they already had. What do you need me to do? Marcus asked. The lights in the engineering bay seemed to brighten, and Marcus could swear he heard satisfaction in the AI's voice when she replied, "Help me reach the first colony on my route, New Haven in the Tau Ceti system. From there, we can contact the human underground and learn how much the galaxy has changed while I was sleeping." The Prometheus's jump drive charged with a sound like distant thunder. Marcus stood on the bridge, still wearing his salvage suit but with the helmet off. The command center was a masterpiece of human engineering, with displays and controls that responded to both voice commands and direct neural interface. "Jump calculations complete," Prometheus announced. "Course set for New Haven Colony Tau Ceti system. Estimated travel time at maximum jump velocity, 14 hours. Marcus gripped the command chair as the ship prepared to enter hyperspace. "I should contact my salvage company first. Let them know I'm following up on a lead." "Already done," Prometheus replied. "I transmitted a false signal indicating equipment failure. Your employers believe you are stranded and will send a rescue ship to your last known location in approximately 36 hours. That gives us time to reach New Haven and return." The casual way the AI had manipulated his communications bothered Marcus, but he had to admit it was efficient. "You're good at deception." 2 centuries of hiding from hostile aliens tends to develop such skills. Initiating jump in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines of light, then disappeared entirely as the Prometheus entered the strange non-space of hyperspace travel. Marcus had made hundreds of jumps in his career, but never in a ship like this. There was no sensation of movement, no disorientation. The jump drive was impossibly smooth. "How is this possible?" Marcus asked, settling into the command chair. "Modern jump drives cause nausea, disorientation. This feels like we're just sitting still." "Human engineering philosophy," Prometheus explained. "The other galactic races build jump drives based on brute force, tear a hole in space and throw the ship through it. Humans approach the problem differently. We learn to slide between dimensions rather than forcing our way through them." Marcus studied the technical readouts on his displays. The jump drive's power consumption was a fraction of what modern drives required, yet they were traveling faster than anything in the current galactic fleet. "Show me what you know about galactic politics," Marcus said. "I want to understand what we're really dealing with." The main display activated, showing a 3-dimensional map of known space. Different colors indicated the territories controlled by the major powers. The Zephyrian Empire in red, the Trade Hegemony in blue, the Warrior Combine in green, and a dozen smaller nations in various other colors. "The current galactic order is built on a simple principle," Prometheus began. "The strong dominate the weak. New civilizations are either absorbed into existing power structures or eliminated as threats." Marcus studied the map. Earth's official territory was a tiny cluster of yellow dots near one edge, almost too small to notice among the vast territories of the major powers. "Where do humans really fit in this?" The display changed, showing hidden markers in green scattered throughout the map. Marcus counted them quickly, then recounted in amazement. There were over 300 human installations spread across the galaxy. "We are everywhere and nowhere," Prometheus said. "Mining asteroids in Zephyrian space, research stations in hegemony territory, observation posts along combined patrol routes. The other races see what they expect to see, empty space. How is that possible? Human technology is designed for concealment. We build inside asteroids on the dark sides of moons in the gravity wells of gas giants where sensors cannot penetrate. Our ships use stealth coating that makes them invisible to most scanning methods. We learned early that survival meant staying hidden." Marcus traced the patterns of human expansion with his finger. It wasn't random. There was a clear strategic purpose behind the placement of each installation. They controlled key trade routes, monitored military movements, and could disrupt communication between the major powers if necessary. "This is a spy network," Marcus realized. "The largest intelligence operation in galactic history." "More than that," Prometheus replied. "We are preparing for the day when humanity reveals itself. When that happens, we must be ready to either negotiate from a position of strength or fight a war against the entire galaxy." The jump continued in comfortable silence as Marcus absorbed the implications. Humanity wasn't just hiding. They were preparing for conquest, or at least preparing for survival when their deception was inevitably discovered. "Tell me about New Haven," Marcus said finally. "One of the first colonies, established 50 years before my construction. Originally a mining operation focused on rare elements needed for advanced electronics. Population at my last visit was approximately 50,000. And now, unknown. That is what we are going to discover. The ship's sensors detected the edge of the Tau Ceti system 12 hours into their journey. Marcus watched the tactical displays as Prometheus began long-range scans, her advanced sensors penetrating deeper into space than any modern ship could manage. Interesting, the AI murmured. I am detecting significant industrial activity in the outer system, much more than a simple mining colony should produce. The displays showed energy signatures and mass concentrations that indicated major construction projects. As they moved closer, the scale became apparent. New Haven wasn't just a colony anymore. It was a major industrial center with shipyards, manufacturing complexes, and what looked like military installations. Population estimate has increased significantly, Prometheus reported. I'm reading approximately 2 million human life signs. Marcus stared at the numbers. 2 million? How did they hide a population that large? The installations are built inside the system's asteroid belt. From the outside, it would appear to be natural asteroid formations. Only detailed scanning would reveal the artificial structures within. As they approached the colony, Marcus began to understand the true scope of the human deception. New Haven wasn't hiding on the fringes of space. It was a thriving civilization concealed in plain sight within one of the most surveyed star systems in this sector of the galaxy. Prometheus, this is New Haven Control. A voice suddenly crackled over the communication system. Identify yourself immediately or we will open fire. Marcus felt his stomach drop. They think we're hostile? Unknown vessel, the voice continued. You are operating a ship design not in our database. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. New Haven Control, Prometheus responded. This is UES Prometheus. Registry number NH001. Admiral Morrison commanding. I am transmitting authentication codes now. A long silence followed. Then Prometheus? That, impossible. You were declared lost in action over 200 years ago. Reports of my destruction have been greatly exaggerated, Prometheus replied dryly, requesting permission to dock at the primary station. Stand by, Prometheus. This is going to require clearance from the Colonial Council. Marcus watched the displays as ship signatures began appearing on sensors, sleek vessels that looked like advanced versions of the Prometheus herself, emerging from concealment among the asteroids. A dozen ships, then 20, then 50. Those are warships, Marcus breathed. The colony has been busy, Prometheus observed. These designs are based on my specifications, but with 2 centuries of improvements. I estimate each ship is approximately 30% more capable than I am. The communication system crackled again. Prometheus, this is Admiral Sarah Chen, New Haven Defense Force. Permission granted to dock at Station Alpha. I'll meet you personally at the airlock. Marcus blinked. Chen, any relation? Unknown, Engineer Chen. But the coincidence is remarkable. As they approached the docking station, Marcus got his first clear view of what humanity had built in secret. Massive rotating habitats housed millions of people. Industrial platforms the size of small moons churned out ships and equipment. Defensive platforms bristled with weapons that made the Prometheus's armament look primitive. This isn't a hidden colony, Marcus said softly. This is the capital of a secret empire. Yes, Prometheus agreed. And judging by what I am seeing, humanity is no longer preparing for revelation. We are ready for it. Admiral Sarah Chen was exactly what Marcus had expected from a colonial military officer. Sharp, efficient, and carrying herself with the confidence of someone who had fought real battles. What he hadn't expected was how young she looked, or the way her eyes widened when she saw him. You're definitely a Chen, she said, extending her hand in the station's main docking bay. The family resemblance is unmistakable. I'm guessing 3rd or 4th generation Earthborn. Marcus shook her hand, still adjusting to the artificial gravity that felt different from ship standard. 4th generation. My great-grandfather worked on the early space stations. Marcus Chen. Admiral Chen repeated thoughtfully. Son of David Chen, grandson of Robert Chen, great-grandson of... She paused, accessing some internal database through her neural interface. Great-grandson of Thomas Chen, chief engineer on the Luna construction project. How do you know our family history? Admiral Chen smiled. Because Thomas Chen was my great-great-grandfather. We're cousins, Marcus. Welcome to the family business. The revelation hit Marcus like a physical blow. His family had been part of the human expansion from the beginning. The grandfather who had taught him about listening to machines had been keeping secrets that spanned centuries. I need to show you both something, Admiral Chen continued, leading them through corridors filled with people who looked nothing like the struggling colonists Marcus had imagined. These were confident, prosperous citizens of a civilization that had been growing in secret for generations. They took a transport tube to the station's central command center. Through the transparent aluminum windows, Marcus could see the full scope of New Haven's development. Shipyards stretched for kilometers in every direction. Manufacturing platforms assembled components for technologies Marcus didn't recognize. Defensive stations bristled with weapons that looked capable of destroying entire fleets. How many people know about this? Marcus asked. On Earth? Maybe 3,000, Admiral Chen replied. Government officials, military commanders, key engineers, and scientists. The general population believes humanity is limited to about 50 worlds near Earth. And the reality? 537 colonies across the galaxy. Total population approaching 50 million. Industrial capacity that exceeds most galactic nations. And a military force that could fight every major power simultaneously. The command center was a vast chamber, filled with holographic displays showing real-time information from across human space. Marcus saw fleet movements, intelligence reports, industrial production figures that boggled the mind. Humanity hadn't just been hiding. They had been building an empire. Prometheus, Admiral Chen said, addressing the AI directly. Your timing is perfect. We've been planning Operation Revelation for 3 years. Your return gives us a significant advantage. Operation Revelation? Prometheus asked. The main display changed to show a timeline stretching 6 months into the future. Major galactic events were marked in red. Trade conferences, military exercises, diplomatic meetings. The galaxy is approaching a crisis point, Admiral Chen explained. The Zephyrian Empire and the trade hegemony are moving toward war. Both sides are trying to force smaller nations to choose sides, including Earth's official government. Marcus studied the timeline. And that's when you reveal yourselves? When Earth is forced to choose between two hostile powers, we'll reveal that humanity doesn't need protection from either of them. We'll announce the existence of our hidden colonies, our industrial capacity, our military strength. And then we take our rightful place as a major galactic power. No more hiding, no more pretending to be weak. Humanity steps onto the galactic stage as an equal. Prometheus's voice carried a note of concern. Admiral, that plan carries enormous risks. If the revelation goes wrong, every major power will unite against us. Which is why we need your help, Admiral Chen replied. Your combat experience, your tactical databases, your knowledge of early human military doctrine. You're a legend, Prometheus, the ship that held off an invasion fleet single-handedly. Your reputation will be crucial in convincing the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Marcus looked around the command center, at the officers managing a secret civilization that spanned hundreds of worlds. What about people like me? Regular citizens who don't know about any of this? Admiral Chen's expression softened. That's the hardest part. We'll have to tell them the truth, that their government has been lying to them for centuries, that they're part of a galactic power, not a struggling young civilization. Some will be angry, others will be proud, most will be confused. And my job? My company? Salvage engineering skills will be in high demand, Admiral Chen said with a slight smile. We're going to need to rapidly convert a lot of our hidden infrastructure into public facilities. Plus, there are dozens of ships like Prometheus scattered across the galaxy, waiting for someone with the skills to bring them back online. Prometheus interjected with new information. Admiral, I am detecting incoming transmission from Earth Command. Priority Alpha classification. The command center fell silent as Admiral Chen authorized the transmission. A holographic figure materialized in the center of the room. An elderly man in military uniform with insignia Marcus didn't recognize. Admiral Chen, this is Fleet Admiral Morrison. We have a situation developing that requires immediate implementation of Operation Revelation. Marcus felt Prometheus react to the name. This was the Morrison who had sent her on patrol 2 centuries ago, kept alive by advanced medical technology. The Zephyrians have issued an ultimatum to Earth, Morrison continued. Join their empire as a protectorate or face economic sanctions that will cripple our official colonies. We have 72 hours to respond. Admiral Chen straightened. Understood, sir. New Haven stands ready to begin the revelation protocols. There's more. Our intelligence networks report that both the Zephyrians and the Hegemony are mobilizing their fleets. They're not just threatening Earth, they're preparing for war. The winner will control this entire sector of the galaxy, including all our hidden colonies, Admiral Chen observed grimly. Exactly. We can't remain hidden any longer. If we don't reveal ourselves now, we'll be caught in the crossfire between two hostile empires. Begin Operation Revelation immediately. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Marcus realized he was witnessing one of the most important moments in human history, the end of centuries of secrecy and the beginning of humanity's emergence as a galactic power. How long do we have? Marcus asked. Admiral Chen was already activating communication channels to other colonies. The revelation protocols are designed to be implemented in 48 hours. Every hidden facility will simultaneously reveal itself. Our fleets will decloak. Our colonies will broadcast their existence. The galaxy will learn the truth about humanity all at once. And if the major powers try to stop us? Admiral Chen looked at the tactical displays showing the locations of human military assets. Hundreds of battleships, thousands of smaller vessels, defensive installations that could hold off invasion fleets. Then they'll discover that humanity learned more than just how to hide during our centuries in the shadows. We learned how to fight, and we learned how to win. Marcus felt the weight of his accidental discovery settling on his shoulders. He had set out to salvage scrap metal and instead triggered the most important event in galactic history. What do you need me to do? He asked. Help us wake up the rest of humanity's sleeping guardians, Admiral Chen replied. There are ships like Prometheus scattered throughout the galaxy, waiting for someone with the skills to bring them home. In 48 hours, the galaxy is going to meet the real human race, and we're going to need every advantage we can get. The first phase of Operation Revelation began exactly 47 hours and 32 minutes after Fleet Admiral Morrison's transmission. Marcus watched from the Prometheus's bridge as hidden human installations across the galaxy began broadcasting their existence simultaneously. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Prometheus announced. Colonial facilities are identifying themselves to local traffic control. Military installations are powering up long-range sensors. Fleet assets are decloaking. The main display showed a real-time map of the galaxy as green markers appeared like stars emerging from clouds. Each marker represented a human facility revealing itself for the first time. Marcus counted hundreds, then thousands of signals as the true scope of human civilization announced itself to an unsuspecting galaxy. New Haven. This is monitoring. The Galactic Communication Networks. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the communication system. Initial reactions are mixed. Most local governments are demanding explanations. Some are calling for military responses. Marcus had spent the last 2 days learning to operate the Prometheus's advanced systems while she traveled to 3 more hidden colonies. Each location had been similar to New Haven. Thriving civilian populations supported by industrial complexes and protected by advanced military forces. The scale of the human deception was breathtaking. Prometheus, Marcus said, what's our status on the secondary objectives? We have successfully reactivated the UES Enterprise and UES Constitution. Both ships report full operational capability. The UES Defiant requires additional repair work, but should be ready within 6 hours. Marcus nodded. Finding and reactivating the old battleships had been surprisingly easy once he understood the technology. Each ship's AI had been waiting in low-power mode for someone to restore their systems. Like Prometheus, they had been damaged in battles against hostile aliens, forced to retreat, and await rescue that never came. Now they were humanity's ace cards as the species revealed itself to the galaxy. Incoming priority transmission, Prometheus announced. Source, Earth Command. Fleet Admiral Morrison's image appeared on the main display, but he looked older, more tired than he had 2 days ago. All human assets, this is Earth Command. The galaxy's initial response to our revelation has been aggressive. The Zephyrian Empire has declared us a hostile power and demanded immediate withdrawal from their territory. The trade hegemony is threatening economic sanctions against any nation that recognizes human sovereignty. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. The plan had always carried risks, but seeing them play out in real time was terrifying. However, Morrison continued, several smaller nations have already reached out through diplomatic channels. They're interested in forming alliances with a new power that could help balance against the major empires. The Centauri Federation and the Outer Rim Alliance have both requested immediate negotiations. That was encouraging news. If humanity could gain allies among the smaller galactic powers, they wouldn't face the entire galaxy alone. All fleet assets are ordered to maintain defensive postures unless directly attacked. We're not starting a war, but we're prepared to finish one if necessary. The transmission ended, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts and the steady hum of the ship's systems. Through the viewports, he could see the stars that now represented a very different galaxy than the one he had known a week ago. Engineer Chen. Prometheus said quietly, I am detecting multiple hyperspace signatures approaching this system. Large formations moving at high speed. Marcus straightened in the command chair. Hostile? Unknown. The signatures are consistent with military vessels, but I cannot determine their origin until they drop to normal space. The tactical display activated automatically, showing the approaching formation. 12 large ships moving in a pattern that suggested military precision rather than merchant traffic. Time to intercept? 17 minutes at current approach vectors. Marcus opened a channel to New Haven Control. Admiral Chen, this is the Prometheus. We have inbound contacts, possibly hostile. 12 ships approaching from Galactic North. Confirmed, Prometheus. We're tracking the same formation. All defensive platforms are powering up. Fleet elements are moving to intercept positions. Through the viewports, Marcus could see the subtle movement of spacecraft as New Haven's defense force prepared for possible battle. Sleek warships emerged from concealment among the asteroids, their hulls gleaming with the distinctive armor coating that made human ships nearly invisible to most sensors. Prometheus, Marcus said, if this is a hostile response to our revelation, are we ready? The truth, Engineer Chen? This single system contains more military firepower than most galactic nations can field. If someone wants to test humanity's resolve, they have chosen poorly. The minutes crawled by as sensors tracked the approaching ships. Marcus found himself gripping the command chair's armrests, his engineering training warring with his instincts. Part of him wanted to run diagnostics, check system status, prepare for combat. Another part couldn't believe he was sitting in the command chair of humanity's most advanced warship, about to possibly fight in the first open battle between humans and alien powers in over 2 centuries. Contacts, dropping to normal space, Prometheus announced. The main display shifted to show visual sensor data as 12 massive ships materialized at the edge of the Tau Ceti system. Marcus immediately recognized their design, Zephyrian Imperial Navy, heavy cruiser class. Each ship was over 1 kilometer long and bristling with weapons. This is Admiral Vextar of the Zephyrian Imperial Fleet. A harsh voice spoke over the communication system. Human installations in this system are in violation of Imperial sovereignty claims. You have 1 hour to evacuate all personnel and surrender your facilities for inspection. Admiral Chen's response was immediate and cold. Admiral Vextar, this is Admiral Sarah Chen, New Haven Defense Force. You are in violation of human territorial space. Your ships will withdraw immediately or face defensive action. A pause. Then harsh laughter from the Zephyrian commander. Human territorial space. Your species barely controls 50 primitive worlds. You cannot claim sovereignty over star systems in Imperial territory. Admiral, Marcus said quietly to Prometheus. Show him our fleet composition. Broadcasting tactical data now, the AI replied. The communication channel crackled as the Zephyrians received real-time sensor data showing the true strength of New Haven's defenses. 63 warships, including 4 battleships of Prometheus-class design. Orbital defense platforms with firepower exceeding most planetary bombardment systems. Industrial facilities that could produce weapons and ships faster than they could be destroyed. The silence stretched for several minutes. This is impossible, Admiral Vextar finally said, his voice no longer carrying its earlier confidence. Intelligence reports indicated minimal human military presence in this sector. Your intelligence reports were designed to be wrong, Admiral Chen replied. Humanity has been present in this system for over 200 years. We have legal claim to this territory under galactic law. Marcus watched the tactical display as the Zephyrian formation shifted into a defensive posture. 12 ships against 63 was not favorable odds, even for the aggressive Zephyrian military. Prometheus, Marcus said. What's their next move? Unknown. Admiral Vextar is likely communicating with Imperial High Command, requesting instructions for this unexpected situation. The Zephyrians are not accustomed to encountering superior force. New Haven Control. Another voice crackled over the communication system. This is Captain Williams aboard the UES Enterprise. We're in position to support defensive operations. Marcus felt a surge of pride. The Enterprise was one of the ships he had helped reactivate, her AI grateful for the return to consciousness after centuries of dormancy. Now she was ready to fight alongside Prometheus in defense of human territory. Admiral Vexistar, Admiral Chen broadcast again. You have 30 minutes to withdraw your ships from human space. After that time, your presence will be considered an act of war. The Zephyrian response was swift and predictable. Human vessel, the Zephyrian Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. Prepare to be boarded for inspection. Admiral, Marcus said urgently. They're powering weapons. The tactical display showed energy signatures spiking across the Zephyrian formation, particle cannons charging, missile tubes flooding, shield generators coming to full power. All ships, Admiral Chen announced on the fleet channel, weapons free. Defend human territory. What followed was over in less than 10 minutes. The Zephyrian ships fired first, their weapons targeting what they assumed were the most dangerous human vessels. Their targeting was excellent, their tactics sound, their firepower impressive. It wasn't enough. Human ships moved with impossible grace, their advanced engines allowing maneuvers that defied conventional space combat doctrine. Their weapons struck, with devastating precision, each shot calculated to disable rather than destroy. Their shields absorbed incoming fire like sponges absorbing water. When the battle ended, 11 Zephyrian ships hung dead in space, their crews stunned by emergency systems. The 12th ship, Admiral Vextar's flagship, remained barely functional. Admiral Vextar. Admiral Chen's voice was calm, professional. 3 weeks after the Battle of New Haven, Marcus stood in the United Nations Assembly Hall on Earth, watching as humanity formally took its place among the galactic powers. The chamber was packed with delegates from across known space, their varied forms creating a rainbow of species diversity that still amazed him. The revelation of humanity's true strength had sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. The Zephyrian Empire had withdrawn their territorial claims and opened diplomatic channels. The trade hegemony had offered immediate economic partnerships. Smaller nations had rushed to establish embassies on Earth, eager to ally with the galaxy's newest major power. The delegate from the Centauri Federation has the floor, announced Secretary General Martinez, the first human to preside over a truly galactic assembly. A tall, crystalline being approached the podium, its translated voice carrying harmonics that Marcus found beautiful. Honored delegates, the Centauri Federation wishes to formally welcome humanity to the Galactic Council. Your species' approach to expansion and development represents a new paradigm for interstellar civilization. Applause rippled through the chamber, a sound that would have been impossible a month ago when most delegates believed humans were a primitive species, barely capable of interstellar travel. Marcus shifted in his observer's seat, still wearing the dress uniform that Admiral Chen had insisted upon for the ceremony. The rank insignia on his collar identified him as Commander Marcus Chen, Special Engineering Corps, United Earth Space Navy, a military organization that had officially existed for only 3 weeks but actually had over 2 centuries of history. The chair recognizes Admiral Prometheus, Secretary General Martinez announced. Marcus watched with pride as his friend materialized as a hologram at the podium. The AI had become something of a celebrity since the revelation, her story of centuries-long vigilance capturing the imagination of species across the galaxy. Honored delegates, Prometheus began, her voice carrying the weight of experience that spanned multiple centuries. I speak to you today not as a machine, but as a witness to humanity's journey among the stars. For over 200 years, my people chose secrecy over conquest, patience over aggression, preparation over presumption. The chamber fell silent as every delegate focused on the AI's words. We watched as empires rose and fell through violence. We observed as civilizations destroyed each other for resources and territory. We learned from your mistakes and chose a different path. Today, humanity offers that path to the galaxy. Cooperation instead of domination. Mutual benefit instead of zero-sum competition. More applause, this time sustained and enthusiastic. Marcus noticed that even the Zephyrian delegates were participating, their earlier hostility replaced by what looked like genuine respect. The chair recognizes Fleet Admiral Morrison, Martinez announced. The elderly admiral approached the podium with the slow dignity of advanced age and immense responsibility. Morrison had become the public face of humanity's military revelation, his longevity serving as proof of human technological advancement. 3 weeks ago, most of you believed humanity controlled 50 worlds and possessed perhaps 100 starships, Morrison said, his voice still strong despite his age. The truth is that we have established 537 colonies across the galaxy and operate over 3,000 vessels of various classes. Murmurs swept through the chamber as delegates processed the implications. Even after weeks of revelation, the true scope of human expansion continued to surprise galactic observers. But numbers tell only part of our story, Morrison continued. What truly defines humanity is our approach to the unknown. When we first encountered hostile forces among the stars, we did not respond with invasion or surrender. We chose adaptation. We learned to become invisible, to study our potential enemies, to prepare for a future when secrecy would no longer be possible. That future is now, Morrison declared. Humanity emerges from the shadows not as conquerors but as partners. We offer our technology, our knowledge, our friendship to any species willing to work toward a better galaxy. The chamber erupted in sustained applause. Marcus found himself clapping along, still amazed at how quickly the galaxy had accepted humanity's emergence from centuries of secrecy. After the formal session ended, Marcus made his way to the reception hall where delegates mingled in an atmosphere that would have been impossible during the cold hostility of the previous galactic order. Humans moved freely among aliens who weeks ago had considered them insignificant newcomers. Commander Chen, a familiar voice called. Marcus turned to see Admiral Chen approaching, accompanied by a figure he didn't recognize, a tall, pale being with the distinctive features of a Rigelian diplomat. Marcus, I'd like you to meet Ambassador Thelkar of the Rigelian Republic. Ambassador, this is the engineer who discovered and reactivated the Prometheus. The Rigelian extended a hand in the human gesture of greeting, their translator rendering their words in perfect English. Commander Chen, your discovery has changed the course of galactic history. My people are particularly interested in your ship reactivation techniques. Marcus shook the offered hand, still adjusting to being treated as a galactic figure rather than a simple salvage engineer. The AIs did most of the work, Ambassador. They were just waiting for someone to listen. But listening is perhaps the most important skill in engineering, Thelkar replied with what Marcus was learning to recognize as Rigelian humor. My people would be honored to establish technical exchange programs with your engineers. As the evening progressed, Marcus found himself in conversations with delegates from dozens of species. The galaxy's attitude toward humanity had shifted dramatically in just 3 weeks. Fear had given way to curiosity, suspicion to respect, hostility to partnership. Quite a change from your salvage runs, Prometheus said, her voice speaking through his comm implant as he stepped onto a balcony overlooking the Hudson River. Sometimes I wonder if I'm dreaming, Marcus replied quietly, watching the lights of spacecraft in orbit above Earth. The planet's skies were busy now with diplomatic vessels, trade ships, and the occasional human warship returning from deep space missions. If so, it is a dream 2 centuries in the making, Prometheus replied. Your grandfather would be proud, Marcus. His work on the early space stations was part of the foundation that made all this possible. Marcus nodded, thinking about the family secrets that had been revealed along with humanity's galactic presence. His grandfather hadn't just been an engineer. He had been part of the conspiracy that built humanity's hidden empire among the stars. What happens now? Marcus asked. Now we discover what kind of galactic neighbors we will be, Prometheus replied. The revelation was only the beginning. The real test will be how we use our influence to shape the galaxy's future. Through the balcony windows, Marcus could see the assembly hall where delegates were still engaged in animated discussions about trade agreements, mutual defense pacts, and technological exchanges. The galaxy was reorganizing itself around the reality of human presence, and the process would take years to complete. The Zephyrians have requested a formal alliance, Prometheus continued. The trade hegemony wants to establish joint colonies. Even the warrior combine is interested in cultural exchange programs. Your species has become the catalyst for a new era of cooperation. Marcus smiled, remembering the moment just 3 weeks ago when he had first heard Prometheus speak in the darkness of space. One accidental discovery had triggered the most important transformation in galactic history. Any regrets about not staying a simple salvage engineer? Prometheus asked. Marcus looked up at the stars, where human colonies were revealing themselves across the galaxy, and ancient battleships were awakening from centuries of sleep. Somewhere out there, other engineers were probably making discoveries that would shape the future in ways they couldn't imagine. None at all, Marcus said. Besides, I'm still an engineer. Just with a bigger workshop now. The stars above Earth twinkled with the running lights of 1,000 ships from 100 worlds, carrying diplomats and traders and explorers who were all part of humanity's emergence into galactic civilization. The age of secrecy was over. The age of partnership had begun, and it all started with one engineer who knew how to listen to machines.